This week, remembering the Spanish Civil War. We're in a village that's remained frozen in time since it was destroyed in battle. Plus, open wide, close encounters with hungry sharks in the clear waters of the Pacific. Tommy's rolling into town with the recipe for a good time.
This is where it all goes down. Right here is my little hob and sink area, which is where I like to cook up a little feast for all my guests.
And we're in Rome, turning the simplest ingredients into a classic Italian dish. One place where the scars of the Spanish Civil War are all too visible is the old village of Belchite in northeastern Spain. It's a ruin. Streets are filled with the remains of buildings that were blasted to pieces during the war, which started 80 years ago this month. It was fought between the leftist Republicans and the far-right nationalists, led by General Franco, and a major flashpoint was the village of Belchite. This was the site of one of the bloodiest battles of the war. For 13 days, back in 1937, this village was under siege. The villagers were caught in the middle of the conflict, and most took to their cellars to try and survive.
La mayor parte del tiempo la gente estaba pues en las bodegas, en los sótanos. Habían construido túneles y hay veces que era imposible salir de las casas, salir de las bodegas. El día a día pues era muy duro, son 13 días de intenso calor, de combates y hasta que por fin la gente pues sería evacuada. Pero la gente lo recuerda con mucho horror esos días. Después de que acaba la batalla, pues la gente cuando sale de las bodegas se encuentran pues con muchos escombros, con muchísimos cadáveres. La olor dice que era insoportable, a putrefacción de aquellos días. Y eso es lo triste que recuerdan de la batalla.
During the siege, over 3,000 were killed, and the village of Belchite was left devastated. Like so many buildings here in Belchite, this church was completely destroyed during the fighting. And this bit of graffiti here tells a story. It says, "Old village of Belchite, your young people are no longer around to sing the songs that their fathers used to sing." After almost 3 years of fighting, the Civil War ended. The nationalist forces defeated the Republicans, and Franco went on to rule Spain as a dictator. He decreed that the village of Belchite be built anew, and that the ruin of old Belchite be left untouched as a monument to the war. Thomas was 13 years old when war came to his village. He managed to escape during the fighting with his sister and now lives in modern Belchite. But the nearby ruin brings back many memories.
Estábamos ahí, todos. Oh, yo, por ejemplo, yo no estaba nunca ahí metido. que siempre estoy por aquí o allá donde está aquel, el cacharro aquel, allí estaba en aquel rincón, siempre. Y hay veces que subían a por él, para abajo, ¡hala! Sí. Es que tiraban por el arco y pasaban los tiros por el arco. Y agárrate, hasta que no se marchaban los que están enfrente de esas casas, que al último tuvieron que echar a tirar con aquello y pegaron 3 o 4 tiros y no explotaban, pero ya se marchaban de las casas esas que hay allí.
Today, Spanish-language tours of the site cater to thousands of visitors from this country and across the world. This may be a very popular site for tourists, but for local Spanish people, the question of how to memorialise the country's civil war and fascist past is the subject of fierce debate. After the death of Franco and his dictatorship in 1975, Spanish political parties agreed to an informal pact of forgetting, which meant the country's nationalist past was widely ignored. But that's changed in the last decade or so. In 2007, a law was passed to condemn General Franco's regime and honour the war's victims. And many have called for a truth and reconciliation process, like in South Africa after the end of apartheid. Still, many believe that the past should simply be forgotten, including powerful symbols like the ruins of Belchite.
Hombre, indudablemente hay de todo, pero vamos, son los menos. Realmente la gente, la generación que vivió la guerra ya, la mayor parte por desgracia, ha desaparecido, porque tenemos que saber convivir unos con otros y yo pienso que esa es la mejor referencia que podemos tener para saber qué es lo que pasa o puede pasar si no sabemos vivir juntos.
The tourists I met here also believed that the site should continue to be preserved.
No es que ni olvidarla ni recordarla, hay que condenar la barbarie que supuso una guerra civil. No, no hay que olvidar la historia, obviamente, hay que condenarla.
Aprender, aprendemos todos los días. Miramos hacia adelante, ahora mismo, pero creo que no debemos de olvidar lo que hemos dejado atrás. Es una buena historia para no volver a cometer las mismas equivocaciones que nuestros padres. Creo que no hay que correr tanto, corremos mucho en la vida. Llega el momento de pensar un poquito más profundamente. Aprendamos de ello.
As the anniversary of the Civil War approaches, Spain will doubtless continue to debate how it will remember its past, and perhaps 80 years is still not enough time to bring about a full and frank national conversation. But whatever happens, old Belchite will continue to stand as a striking monument and a harsh reminder of what happens when national arguments turn to violence. If our time in Belchite has piqued your interest in other historical sites that have been preserved for posterity, here are some of our top tips. This is Gunkanjima Island in Japan, off the coast near Nagasaki, though you might recognise it from the James Bond film Skyfall, where it played the villain's deserted lair. It was built to house coal miners, and during the Second World War it was filled with slave labour. The mine closed and the island emptied in the 1970s, and now you can take tours of the crumbling remains. There are more relics of the Second World War off the English coast, near the mouth of the River Thames. These forts were built to shoot down aircraft on their way to attack London and deter boats from laying mines. Later, some of the towers were used for pirate radio stations, and today, boats occasionally take people out to sea for a closer look at the forts. There's a deserted town you might instinctively want to avoid, Chernobyl. 30 years after the nuclear accident there, thousands of people now visit each year. What they find is a deserted time capsule from Soviet 1986, a town abandoned overnight and left for dead. And in Naples, in Italy, there's a tunnel made for a king to make a sharp exit from his palace. The Bourbonica tunnel was dug in 1853 for a nervous Ferdinand II, king of the Two Sicilies, but it was never finished. It served as an underground hospital in the Second World War, and then a store for impounded cars. There are several ways to tour the tunnel. Our favourite includes a hard hat and a zip wire. Staying in Italy, this week's Global Gourmet comes from Rome. There aren't many cities around the world without an Italian restaurant, but the food isn't always what you might call authentic. So let's take a lesson from the chef of one of Rome's most popular restaurants. This is how to make a perfect plate of pasta.
My name is Andrea Romagnoli. I am the owner of the restaurant Al Moro here in Rome. It's one of the older restaurants in Rome because we are 3 generations. We prepare the bucatini alla matriciana, that it's a simple plate of the Roman cuisine. There are 2 or 3 ingredients. There are the tomato, the fresh tomato, the cheek of the pork. There are the red pepper, the spicy, and the white wine. You put in the hot water. I'm peeling the skin of the tomato. The skin is not tasting to eat. This is the cheek of the pork. Then we put the cheek of the pork. This is wine of the Castle of Rome, Grotta Ferrata. It's a white wine, it's Frascati. When this one is ready, there is not too much sauce. We put then the tomato. The sauce is ready. It's about 2 or 3 minutes that it's ready, this one. Then I take the pasta and we put the bucatini to cook.
Still to come on The Travel Show. Playing cat and mouse with the great whites of the Pacific. And Tommy shows us why we don't want him in the tent next door.
Can you still hear it?
The Travel Show, your essential guide wherever you're heading.
Yo, 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 BBC, welcome to my crib. That's right, British summertime is well and truly in effect, and you want to see how me, Tommy Sandu, the pop star, lives it up when I'm out and about? Come and check it out. This is where it all goes down. Right here is my little hob and sink area, which is where I like to cook up a little feast for all my guests. And you're currently sat in my lounge come bedroom, and in here, things get really steamy. It's my shower and toilet with sink all compact into this little space. Do you like it?
The Barefoot's GRP shell has lots of curves, and its innovative design is a definite head-turner. And the lounge area is surprisingly spacious. Being quite tall myself, when I stand up, my head actually hits the ceiling. But that's my only criticism, really. What you're really paying for here is the design factor.
So standing up might have been a little bit of an issue for me, but lying down isn't. I mean, look at the size of this bed. If you're not privileged enough to have a retro cool caravan to stay in, then here is a cheaper alternative. It's a tent, and the makers claim you can put it up in 2 seconds. Let's put that to the test.
The Quechua Fresh and Black tent actually took me longer than 2 seconds to put up, more like a few minutes for a novice like me. But it is fairly straightforward to use.
The beauty of this really does lie in the fact that it is 100% waterproof. It's also condensation proof as well, so things can get quite hot and muggy inside, but it won't feel damp and squidgy, which is great. And as you can see, there's plenty of room in here for somebody to join me. So do you wanna pop on in? Come on in here. Hey, where you go? Next up is an essential piece of kit, particularly when you're on a campsite. It's one of these. Can you guess what it is? Huh? No, it's not the latest man bag. It is, in fact, a portable stove.
The Primus Onja. It's a stylish and compact double burner stove. The gas is really easy to attach with the screw-in threads, and once secure, you're ready to start. And remember, you'll always need to be careful when storing and using gas canisters. But thanks to the design, once in use, the burners are partially shielded from the wind.
You know what? It works. It's super simple, lightweight, portable, easy to get going, and judging by my soup, which has now been bubbling away for a few minutes, it's now lunch. So if you don't mind, a little bit of peace, please. Thank you. Cheers. If you're like me and taking your music with you on your travels is really important, then you're going to value a very good portable speaker. And there are loads to choose from, including ones like this. But this is a little bit big and bulky to fit in your rucksack. Well, guess what? This daddy has had a baby, and it's going to light up our world.
The JBL Pulse 2 is powerful for its size, with full bass response and solid balance. Its intriguing multicolored LED light show reacts to your music's tempo. The only disadvantage is it's low on accessories.
It's quite difficult to fault this. One thing though is that it's splash-proof, not waterproof, so it can't be submerged in water like previous models, which is important to know if you're by the beach or a pool. But that said, you're getting a massive 360-degree sound from something which is no bigger than a flask. It's loud, isn't it? I wonder how far back it goes. Go on, back up. Can you still hear it?
Now to the Pacific and the Mexican island of Guadalupe, nearly 250 kilometers off the coast of Baja California. Its volcanic coast drops into the bluest of Pacific waters, but underneath the surface, it's home to hundreds of great white sharks. This shark is around 4 meters long. Some around here are half as big again, and if you could put them on the scales, they'd weigh 2.5 tons.
White sharks have just captured the public's imagination in a way not many other species have. They're the lions of the ocean, and there's a magic quality. We fear them. We should fear them, but we need to protect them, and we're all better off that white sharks are here.
The sharks are drawn here because there's a ready supply of food. Guadalupe Island is home to seals, which are easy prey for a great white. But the sharks can be tempted away from the seals with a chunk of tuna, and that taste for tuna brings the sharks up close to divers who want to get close to the sharks.
I have a lot of respect for an animal that comes up out of the water after his food, and teeth this long, and could kill you.
To get in the cage, all you have to do is slide on your butt until you sit on top of the cage.
I can't wait, I'm so excited, and wish me luck.
This boat has 3 cages for divers. 2 stay close to the boat, and the 3rd dangles much deeper.
All right, bring your mouth all the time.
You don't need a diving qualification to do this. There's a special air supply from the boat. The cages let divers get astonishingly close to the sharks. The gaps in the cages look big, but don't worry, they're enough to keep the sharks at bay. And with seals in abundance and tuna as a treat, humans in wetsuits aren't that tempting a prospect to a hungry shark.
like you turn around and there's one like in your face.
They're not after us as many people like to think, jaws, all that stuff, so they're a beautiful wild animal, and I feel very lucky, privileged.
Not as aggressive as I might have anticipated. They just seem to be living their lives, and it was a privilege to see them.
I arrived scared and I'm leaving scared.
Going to Guadalupe to dive with sharks isn't cheap. You'll probably have to spend thousands of dollars on the trip. But getting so close to one of the planet's greatest predators might be one of life's most exhilarating experiences.
Well, that's all we've got time for on this week's show. Coming up next week...
Rajans in New Orleans beginning a 2-week march across the southern states of the USA.
That is New Orleans, exactly how I imagined it. A brass band going down the street and a whole crowd following them, getting into the vibe. Fantastic.
And taking aim at the Alamo, deep in the heart of Texas.
So do join us then if you can. And in the meantime, you can catch up with us if you like, out on the road in real time by signing up to our social media feeds, details of which are on the screen now. But for now, from me, Crystal Larwood, and the rest of the Travel Show team here in Spain, it's goodbye.